Welcome back, everyone, to the
Oh,
Brother
hello.
Sister Show. Welcome. Yeah, I didn't tell you we were started recording. I just did it, but hello.
Howdy.
The world
Howdy.
is
Ending.
burning as we speak. I
You
feel.
know, oh,
Oh,
how do you
what do I
feel?
know?
No, how do you feel?
I just feel like the gap in between our episodes are so long.
Yeah,
Two
I
weeks
was literally
ago,
about to say that.
the world was fine. 2 weeks ago, New Mutants was gonna come out. Uh, we were just worried about Henry Cavill being casted as Wolverine. That's all we were worried about.
And I didn't realize that 2 weeks ago when we recorded, I was still under the impression that I was going to South by.
Oh,
And that seems like it was like 5 months ago.
we should
That was a weird.
discuss restructuring this podcast now that I have time, now that I don't have
I know.
class.
I mean, I still have to work, and you still have a class, but
I mean, maybe I could make time to edit. Because honestly, I don't do a whole lot of editing. I leave stuff in. The only thing I do is slap on our intro and outro music. Well, the music. I mean, it's not real music, but it's just the film reel thing.
well, there you go. We can I've provided the structure for the content. You provide the editing structure.
We'll do.
But
We should do weekly. I think I think that's the next step.
I mean, I think I don't know, like with the whole corona stuff, I feel like now it's kind of it has kind of made me think about and I think everybody about like their daily routines
Hmm.
already, and we have time now, but it's just all about finding time after this is all over. Because, like, I mean, everything's gonna go back to normal. We don't know when it's gonna
Hmm.
happen. And right now it's a little bleak, especially because yesterday I watched Outbreak and Contagion in the same day, so I was like freaking myself out. But I was just so curious about them, and I was like, you know what? I know myself. I need to just like watch the worst case scenario so that I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. But it seems like in those movies it kind of gets to the whole like Outbreak, not so much, but Contagion, it gets a little bit like at the end, like half the world is kind of wiped out and there's
Yeah.
trash on the floor and stuff. And I kind of am, I haven't been outside really, so I'm like picturing that in my mind. That's what it looks like outside. But it doesn't. But like I just feel like after everything is gets back to normal, I just want us to be able to like sustain that. And I think we would, but I don't think anybody would blame us for like maybe doing it weekly and then going back to the two, bi-weekly and maybe
Yeah.
doing a little small episode in between. But I mean, if there's a time for us to kind of keep ourselves busy and to give people something that they're not asking for, but that they could use to like distract themselves, then I feel like now is the time. So I'd be
Yeah.
down.
Let us know what you guys think. I mean, we'll talk about it more. But I don't know. I just feel like people are gonna watch movies no matter what. I feel like this is like prime time for us, you know? This is where we
Yeah.
thrive. This is
Well,
how
and
I
we
win.
this is how we win. And we kind of have been, at least both of us, but that was one thing that whenever I was like pitching this to you, that I wanted it to be that every movie is available on a streaming service.
Hmm.
And so that is kind of setting ourselves up for success, because can you imagine if we were like, okay, we can only do new releases? We'd be a little
Well, I
fucked.
mean, I mean now they're starting to release stuff on VOD, like Invisible Man. I little cutting a little forward, but I went to go see The Hunt. They're releasing it on like platforms. Like Universal's gonna release some of these
Yeah.
films early. So I mean,
Frozen 2 is put on Disney Plus.
Frozen 2, Invisible Man. I think a lot of movies are gonna start like coming early. I know Bloodshot is like that. That's movies coming out soon, and that one's gonna be one of them. I don't know. It's an interesting time for a lot of things. I mean, I, I've obviously never experienced anything like this in my life. It just feels. I asked mom and dad. I was like, should I be freaking out? Like, is this something that happens for every epidemic, like SARS, mad cow? Is this how they were? How everyone was? It's just I've never experienced anything like this.
I mean, I'm only what 2, 3 years older than you, so it's kind of the same for me. Like, I've never seen anything like this. I know about like H1N1 that was like swine flu, that was a big deal, but it was never. I don't remember ever like having to change our plans. I think at that time we were thinking of, not we as I was too young, but like our parents wanted to take like their parents to Mexico because one of our grandparents hasn't been since she left, but then that's when it started happening, and so we were like, oh, maybe it's not the good time now. But then like that's the only thing I remember happening, but there was never any like, oh well, we have to like cancel a flight. Or and I remember like the Ebola obviously was a big deal, but that it didn't get to this level. But I don't know if it has anything to do with them containing it early, but I think this is just one of those things that, like you said, it's not like I don't know. It's a weird thing to talk about because it is serious, but I don't want to, like when I was watching Contagion, like the mortality rate on that one in that movie was like 20 to 30%. So like a ton of people were dying, and like now it still is. It's like 3% now, but that's still a
Yeah.
lot of people because that's the entire world. So it is something to think about. I mean, I wouldn't say to panic, but you need to be, especially you need to be like careful
Oh
because
yeah.
there's certain
I
people
kind of got
that,
scared today. I was like,
why
because I've been like, oh, for those of you who don't know, I have asthma, so
you're
I
e-
guess,
so
immunocompromised.
I don't
I don't
know
know.
if if that's your like designation, but it does affect your respiratory system. So you
Yeah.
could be heavily in like affected by it if you do get it. But
I don't
sorry,
know.
go
I think I was just getting paranoid. I'm like, oh, like I may not show symptoms now, but I could have it. There was a case in Brazos County. I mean, it's not the lady who got affected wasn't, or who was tested positive isn't affiliated with my university at all. But it's just scary, just because the way
Yeah.
everything is playing out. My universities are just going online only. Campus is really dead. Like, I rode my scooter to work today. I was just like, wow, there's no one here. Absolutely no one. Like, all the work I do is just like people just doing remote stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. It kind of feels like the end of the world. It feels like the entire world's going on break, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's why I don't know. I was talking to Sebastian about this where I told him I kind of feel paranoid too, just because like as one of those people that's privileged not to have any like I don't have asthma, I don't have any like I'm not my immune system's not compromised that I know of. So for me, I probably wouldn't get as like if I did get it, I either wouldn't show symptoms or I would be fine, I would
Mm-hmm.
like
Would
recover.
recover.
But the thing that is making me paranoid and what everybody should be thinking about too that are in my situation is obviously you could spread it to people. Like I
Carrier.
went to yeah, and I went to San Antonio this past weekend, and then like I came back and I kind of felt after all like I was watching the news and stuff, I felt really guilty because I was like, well, you were there and like our parents are there and like there's all these people there that I'm like if I like just because I wanted to go and like visit, I could have still put people at risk. So I don't
Yeah.
know. It's something to think about. I think being paranoid to the point where you're like going and buying 5,000 rolls of toilet paper is not the way to go. But I
No.
think we should have some sort of like underlying paranoia just so we can keep ourselves safe. Like today, right, literally right before this, I ordered I just wanted to treat myself. So I ordered, and I wanted to support a local business because I work for local restaurants and businesses and stuff. So I ordered takeout, or I think it's called Favor, but that's in Texas from a local restaurant. And when I got, well, first they have a lot of places now where you can have no contact deliveries. So they just leave it on your door and then like they leave and tell you that it's there. And so I did that, but when I did, I like carefully put it on my counter. I threw away all the packaging, washed my hands, took out the food, and then I put the food on my table and then I washed or I like wiped down all my counters that it touched. Like I was kind of when I was washing my hands, I was like, that was a little ridiculous. But like, if that made me even lesser like exposed to it, then like, so be it. You know, like if you don't leave your apartment for and you're allowed, if you can, and you don't leave your apartment for like 2 weeks or this entire time, then like do it. You know, especially
Yeah.
because like I said, there's fucking idiots I see every single day where they're posting that they're in bars, they're going to the beach when like you're gonna fucking kill people.
Yeah.
And it's all those young people. And I, to be honest, when this first started out, I was one of those people that had that thought where I was like, oh, I won't be affected. So like keep South by, who cares? Like just
Yeah.
if you are going to get a like really bad infection by it, then like just don't go. Which now I know that's fucking selfish, but like the fact that people to this day are still doing that is really stupid. You know, like I'm not going to go visit our grandparents for after this ends, I'm going to like still keep myself in Austin for 2 weeks so that I can see if I have symptoms and then I'll go visit people. You know, like there's
Yeah.
steps that you should be taking. But yeah, I guess that's like, I don't know if there's something else you want to say about the whole thing, but yeah.
Just to like kind of bring it back and still keep this topic, I guess. I just feel like there, the reason I say we should go weekly at least, for this duration of whatever the hell's happening, is because I feel like the need, but I don't know, like I guess it's a desire for me, but like the need for the people who don't know that they want this. I just feel like there's a need for content. I feel like there's a
Yeah.
desire for me to create something because I feel like this is such a unique time to tell any story. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something that stands out to me. I've been trying to think of stuff to make during this time. I don't know. It just feels like a really unique time to do something, to make something, to put something out there, even if it's like a silly joke, even if it's anything, you know.
Yeah, something
So
positive.
yeah. So let us know what you guys want, if you want
I
anything.
mean, we're just gonna probably do it anyway.
Yeah, but well,
I
any
like that idea
specifics,
though.
anything, really. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
We
that's my
can
final
we
thoughts.
can finally start our This Is Us podcast.
Yeah. No, that one will just be Dad.
Just dad telling us what he thought. Okay, well, I guess we can do some catching up. I don't I think that's the last thing I want to say about Corona is just like support the local businesses as much as you can. Don't be an asshole and stay the fuck home if you can. I know some people can't,
Yeah,
but stay home.
crazy time we're living in.
Yeah.
But
All
what have
right.
you been watching?
Well, I've been watching actually a lot of shit. So the two, I watched Invisible Man before this whole stuff happened, and I don't remember if I talked about it. Um, so if I did, apologies in advance. But it is actually surprisingly good. I thought it was not going to be, so I wasn't gonna watch it. But it's really creepy. It scares you in like really surprising ways. Not like it's not like scary. It's more of a thriller, but definitely recommend if they put it on VOD soon, I would definitely recommend. Um, yeah. And
That
then, huh?
that movie, I was like, this is gonna be bad. So I kind of want to know what happened. So I read the synopsis. I was like, oh, probably should have watched that.
It's very good. Yeah, I would recommend. And actually the last movie that I saw in theaters before all of this happened was a movie called Portrait of a Lady on Fire. And that was also very good. I knew it was going to be good, but it was very, very good. It's a French film, and you know
Hmm.
those always deliver. And I don't want to give too much away, but It's just a sweet little movie. Like it's beautifully made in the way it looks. The writing is really good. The storyline is interesting. It's really understated, but in a really artistic way. But yeah, I liked that one as well. And I've just been watching a lot of shows. I think I binge watched. This is when we still were like not in the end of the world, but I watched all of the Umbrella Academy.
Mm.
I watched whenever I was working. I've been watching a crime show called Broadchurch, which is very good. It has David Tennant and Olivia Colman. And what else I've been watching? I've just been watching a lot of like I've been rewatching movies. I guess this is a good time to plug our Instagram because I posted those comfort movies.
Yeah.
And I've been to do those. I've been doing like a deep dive into what movies I actually do want to watch whenever I'm having a rough time. A lot of them I couldn't. I should have done honorable mentions because there's a lot that I do love watching, but they're not on streaming services. Um,
Yeah.
but I kind of saw a trend within mine where I just love like movies that are like either I like good movies, but I really love watching bad movies, especially if they're romantic comedies. I only
Oh,
put one,
I saw
but
Dumpling. I was like,
that's
what?
so good. Have you seen it?
I have.
It's cute. It's just I don't know. It's a nice little story. It ends. It's like I also like movies where it's going to have like a happy ending.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
All
know.
of these are like, yeah. That's like a.
Monster-in-Law is the one that I almost put Hitch. I should have, but I was like, no, I can't. Not this time. I wanted to put My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but it's not available on any like. Oh, these are basically all romantic comedies except for Instant Family. That's the one where I watched it in theaters and I was the only person in the theater before coronavirus was a thing. I was the only person there, and it's on Hulu. But yeah, yours have a trend too. Monsters versus Aliens. I thought you were joking. Is it
That
actually
was
good?
not. I remember watching that movie a lot, but my trend was I wanted to get at least one on like the major streaming platforms. So I was like, okay, let me go. Well, Dodgeball, that one I watched very recently, and I was like, that's like,
Good.
that's the perfect movie. The pacing is like, it's only like an hour and a half. It's perfect. Monsters vs Aliens, that one's just like you watch that, you're like, I don't know. I think it's the nostalgic effect too. Like I watched that as a kid, so it's like, of course I'm gonna like it. What trend are you thinking are mine? Like, are my movies follow?
I don't know. Like I can't. The only thing I can say these, which will make sense to a lot of people, is these are just very you.
Hmm.
I'm surprised. The one thing I didn't, I thought you would put, but you didn't, was a Marvel movie. I'm
I
surprised you went
thought
with the
about
Star Wars one.
I almost put the first Iron Man. I don't know
That's
if
what I thought.
that's I don't know if that's on any streaming service. Oh, it's probably on
Shouldn't it
Disney.
be on Disney Plus?
Yeah. I don't know. Rogue One, it doesn't really have a happy ending, but I feel like I don't know. Spice it up.
I'm surprised you put Big Fish. I didn't think you'd ever seen that before.
Big Fish, yeah, of course.
Oh.
That one's like you see the end and you're like, oh my gosh, that one hit.
That one's really good. It kind of stresses me out though.
I can see that, but it's just like a kid getting to know his dad.
Yeah, true.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yours are very like kid-ish. Well, not Scott Pilgrim, but they're very like campy. That's what it is,
Yeah,
I think, except for Rogue One. But they're all
yeah.
like really, some of them are ridiculous. Like Scott Pilgrim is, well, all of these except for Rogue One are just ridiculous. I think you just like goofy movies,
Yeah.
which that's another good one, a goofy movie.
Agree.
Sorry. All right,
Quickly
let's move
move
on.
past that.
All right, well, I can't think of any other standouts that I've watched, so you can go.
Before that, since we're kind of already talking about comfort movies, do you want to go through some of our listeners?
Oh yeah.
We got Natural Born Killers. I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
Emily gave
it's.
that one.
I've
Our
never
sister.
seen it, but I was like, I bet it's a joke, but I'm still gonna post it.
Brother
Um,
Bear. Brother Bear's a good one.
Surfs Up.
Surf's
I
Up.
wonder who put that. Um, Big,
Big. Uh,
Paddington, both of
Paddington.
them.
Those I need to watch. Heard
We
very
got
good things
some
about.
same. We got some comments too. Let's see.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, no,
Clerks. Dad put
actually,
Contagion, Outbreak, World War Z, and Mary Poppins.
the, I don't even know. The first three are just like the world's gonna end, and then Mary Poppins. I don't
Just
know.
throw my Mary Poppins. And I've also never seen Mary Poppins. And I would have never guessed that's a comfort movie for him. I have so many questions.
I never thought Dad would ever see that.
Well, I don't think he's talking about the new one.
Oh,
Oh
oh.
my God. Why would he talk
Mary
about that?
Mary Poppins Returns just smacks.
Just hits different. And then another comment saying La La Land, Paddington 2, and all of the Toy Story movies.
Toy Story is like classic. That's like
I didn't put any animated ones. They're almost like all of them are sad. Like the ones that have come out recently. I guess I could have put like a Disney cartoon, like maybe like Mulan or something.
uh, that's what I wanted to put for the Disney Plus one, but I don't know. Rogue One just it'd be hitting different.
Also, I should have put and all of the Disney Channel original movies.
Mm.
I love all of them.
All of them.
All right, what else have you been watching?
Oh yeah, yeah. So I have watched only one movie in the theaters since last time. It's probably gonna be the last one for a long time. Honestly, probably shouldn't have gone. It was like 2 days ago, but it
Oh,
was pretty empty. It was like me, Kayla, and then like one other couple. Um, and it was The Hunt. I wasn't. I'm not mad at it. I'll probably forget that I saw it, but I really liked the main character. I don't know the actress's name. I probably should,
Betty
but
Gilpin.
there you go. Um, but I really can't emphasize enough. I say this every time. That going into movies without any expectations or prior knowledge is just the way to go. Because then it's like you're never let down. I don't know.
Mm, that's
I had no the only thing I didn't like about this movie was about kind of the end. I don't want to talk about the end, but I kind of didn't like something about the end. But I didn't like the way they advertised this movie, where it was like, "This is the best movie all year because you've never heard about it," or something like that. I was like,
It
"Who
does
are
have an
you?"
interesting. Do you know the history of its like release?
I don't.
So it was supposed to be released, I think, a year ago. And it was like advertised and everything. The trailer went out, and like, yeah, so it was supposed to come out. I don't know exactly the date, but once the trailer came out, people realized it was about um basically liberals putting conservatives into kind of like a it looked like a Hunger Games kind of situation and just basically hunting them.
Mhm.
But obviously it's a trailer, and so it gives very limited context to what you're watching. And so people were just outraged, and I think even he who must not be named, he like set tweeted about it or whatever. And so it was just a huge deal. And so basically people they stopped the release of it, and then they released it, and it was kind of quietly. Like I didn't realize that they were putting it out until like a week before it was coming out.
Yeah, same here.
So it does have an interesting story to it, and I think that it would have made a bigger splash if they actually released it when it was supposed to come out rather than delaying it. And it
Yeah.
wasn't delayed due to any like coronavirus stuff. It was delayed due to the backlash from conservatives.
Well, I was just like, "Who do you think you are? The audacity." this is the best movie all year, and you don't even know anything about it. I was like, whatever.
They
Okay.
all say that.
Not like that. I don't know. This felt different. It felt weird. Like I saw that trailer. I was like, what? No, stop. But yeah, the only thing I'll say about it is that I didn't feel like it ended just the way it's
Oh.
like credits rolled. I was like, all right, I guess I leave. I don't know. Uh, I also rewatched um The Dark Knight, the last two movies of the Dark Knight trilogy, and man, those movies
Slap.
those movies are perfect. I don't know. I'm I'm convinced that that is the greatest trilogy known to mankind. Christopher Nolan,
Um,
genius.
I think High School Musical would have something to say about that.
No, High School Musical is disgusting in comparison to the Dark Knight trilogy. I don't know. It's just like there was this one part where Kayla was just like, "What?" Like her mind was blown. It
She's
was
never
when
seen it?
I don't think in its entirety.
Oh my god.
So in The Dark Knight, the greatest movie of all time besides Interstellar, they're neck and neck.
Honestly, it
Um,
is the perfect movie.
it is. So the part where because Joker's whole thing is he's trying to take down Harvey Dent because he's the White Knight. Kayla was like, "Wait, he's the White Knight, and Batman's the Dark Knight." Her mind was blown. I was like, "Yeah,
One thing I do, even though this is kind of a not a mistake, because it still ended up being probably my favorite part of the entire movie, is that meme that everybody makes of it, where I just will see that scene where Harvey Dent's in the hospital after he gets like half his
oh,
face blown off. He doesn't realize it's Joker
doesn't
until he
realize
takes
he's
the
Joker,"
mask off.
and then he freaks out.
I
I
mean, that's a really bad like. That's kind of akin to like that whole. Remember Bradley Cooper's movie where that baby was like obviously fake? That's kind of like that, but this
an American
movie,
Sniper.
yeah. But that movie was bad, and so that part just makes it look worse. This movie is so good that even that makes me like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, but he did that on purpose because he knew we would love it.
Yeah, it doesn't make
It's
sense.
so funny. It
Like he just thinks all nurses have that much makeup on their eyes.
and a really obvious like fake red wig and wears an outfit like that. But yeah, that is a perfect movie, even with that.
Yeah. Um, and then so my friend Joe, he recommended we watch two movies. One, I don't know if it's on a streaming service, so I won't mention it just in case we might pick it. Um, and the other is a movie that is not. I know for sure because I watched it, and it is called Cashback. So I don't know if I talked to you about
Oh,
this.
you did.
It's essentially uh, this dude. He goes through a breakup, and he no, forget that. He just in order to pass time, he thinks about what would happen if he could stop time. Like what would he do? And so he's an artist, and he like draws or he like paints people. So he just paints people when they're frozen in time in his mind. And I love this movie. It was fantastic. It came out in like 2006. It's a British film, but uh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I liked it so much because I do that myself. Like if I'm bored at work, I'm just like, or it's bored anywhere really. Just what happens if I stop time? Um, would I cheat on my test? Would I think of awesome comebacks and arguments? Would I go steal stuff? All this stuff is just what would I do? You know?
Yeah.
And they didn't give too much. They weren't just like, oh, it's just like you don't know if it was actually real, if he actually stopped time, or I don't know. It felt like one of those movies that I haven't seen in a while. Where I was like, wow, that was like I felt a little different after watching it.
Mm.
Highly recommend if you have the chance to go rent it. Uh, we're
What's
in
the name again?
quarantine, baby. Cash back. It's with the guy. What's his name?
Just describe him. I'll probably know who it is.
He's a British feller. He kind of has like a upside triangle head.
What?
What
What
is?
else has he been in?
That's what I'm gonna look at. Sean Biggerstaff.
Oh, I have
That's
no
his
idea who it is.
name. He's in something. Oh, he's the Quidditch captain of Gryffindor in Harry Potter when Harry's like a freshman or like year one, whatever.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, he's yeah, I think that's the only thing that you would know him from.
I think I know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of has a big head.
I've seen another movie and I'm trying to think of what it was, and it was like kind of newish, but I can't think of it. Hmm. Was that all you've seen that you can like remember?
Yeah, I haven't been really watching shows. It's this feller.
Oh, okay. I know who that is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nah, he doesn't have a triangle head. It's just very like it looks like he has a light bulb head. That's what it is.
Oh my God. Yeah, continue roasting him for the majority of this.
Light bulb head looking ass.
Oh,
um,
before we move on to the movie, I guess so. I remember the first movie that was delayed or the production was like shut down, and I was going to talk about it because I was like, oh, this would be interesting before everybody else did, was Batman.
mm,
But since now basically everything is kind of shut down, what is the thing that what production or movie or something that's about to be released or that is in production is bumming you out that it's being postponed the most?
Probably the Tom Holland Uncharted one because
I don't even know what that is.
Uncharted is like it's a video game and it's like I've never played the game, but I want to say it's like a Tomb Raider, like a very similar. No, it's not. I'm a liar. Uncharted action adventure game. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Nathan Drake, a treasure hunter who travels the world to uncover various historical mysteries. But that one, I don't know if you've ever followed, or I mean, obviously you haven't, but that one has lost its director. Like it's already been delayed so much that this is like, oh man, this this movie can't catch a break.
Like
As
that New
as just
Mutants one.
Yeah, yeah, that one too. That one's just like, oh man, like these movies have been like they want to get released, you know? And so many people have put their time and effort and money into it that I'm just like, that sucks. Because this is even further out of their control, you know?
No, yeah, true.
Now, those two probably, I don't know, the New Mutants one, not it, not entirely excited for it. I mean, I'm excited to see what they'll do, but those probably Batman they'll recover. You know, they were still very early on. I think Uncharted too, but just the fact that they have already had multiple pushbacks and setbacks is just like
Mhm.
sucks. What about you?
I Well, I was excited. Well, first I thought A Quiet Place 2, I thought it came out 2 weekends ago. So now that I first figured out that it didn't come out and then they postponed the release of it because that's already like ready to go. Um, that kind of sucks because I did want to see it. It has Cillian Murphy in it and I fucking love him.
Hmm.
And it's supposed to be, and I was seeing all these reviews of it and how it's getting really good reviews. Um, sorry, I burped. So that one kind of sucks. I'm sure there's some shows that are being affected that,
Oh yeah.
like, I know that I'm curious about what's happening with Queer Eye because they already have a season coming up, I think, but they're filming their sixth season or their newest one. They're filming it in Austin. But
Ooh.
they said that they were here, like there was a picture going around that they were here the Friday before. It was like that Friday or Thursday before everything basically shut down. So I'm curious how that's affecting them. I think a lot of them are. I follow them on Instagram, and it looks like they're home. But then I think Anthony is still in Austin because they said that he's fostering like a dog or two from Austin Pets Alive. So I don't know. That kind of sucks because I really love that show. But I'm
Yeah.
excited because they just released today that they just announced that they're going to release a new season of Nailed It. So that's nice because I fucking love that show, and that's one of if we could do like a list of comfort shows, that is a big one. I fucking love that show, and that's like one of the only competition shows that I'll watch more than once. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
but
a bunch of Netflix shows too, like The
yeah.
Witcher.
Oh.
Um, I don't know any others. I just knew that off the top of my head.
There's a show on HBO that I watched. It's like I watched later than a lot of people did, but a show called Euphoria that
Oh
has
yeah.
Zendaya in it that was postponed, and I was kind of looking forward to the new season because of how they left everything out. But I mean, I'd rather people be safe, so we'll just
Yeah.
support them when they come out, I guess.
Yeah, it's
All
just
right.
like the whole world was like, you know what? Let's just pause. Let's just pause on everything. I don't know.
And I don't in a way it sucks, but in another way, like trying to be positive, it is kind of cool that we can all it should have been earlier is one thing I'll say, but we can all get behind the fact that this is something that we have to do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And that's that on that.
All right, so now to some lighthearted movie talk.
Lighthearted.
By the way, I feel bad that I didn't choose it like a lighthearted movie,
Don't
but
worry.
that's how the world
I
works.
think I have a perfect movie for what we're going through.
If it's Outbreak, I'm gonna scream. No, I'm kidding.
Contagion. World War
Okay.
Z and
Uh,
Mary Poppins.
all in one day. Okay. So Candyman came out in 1992. The director is Bernard Rose, and he also wrote the script, but it is based on I think it's a book called The Forbidden by Clive Barker, so it's an adapted screenplay. The principal cast is Virginia Madsen, Xander Berkeley, and Tony Todd. And the plot is Helen Lyle is a student who decides to write a thesis about local legends and myths. Well, actually, that's kind of erasure of the other lady because she was writing it with another person, but we'll move on. She visits a part of town where she learns about the legend of Candyman, a one-armed man who appears when you say his name 5 times in front of a mirror. Of course, Helen doesn't believe all this stuff, but the people in the area are really afraid. When she ignores their warnings and begins her investigation in the places that he is rumored to appear, a series of horrible murders begins. Could the legend be true? It had an estimated budget of $6 million, but I put it in like a little inflation calculator, and in today's money, that would be 11 million. Opening weekend, it made a little bit under 5.5 million, and for inflation, it would be about a little under 10 million.
Yeah.
Which is very good
Not
for
bad.
an opening weekend, yeah. And then for its US gross, it made about 25 million, but for inflation it would be 47. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So it did really well in theaters, but I think I have never done a study on this, but I think that just kind of goes into the rate at which people went to the movie theaters. I think it was bigger in the 90s. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so for reception, it got a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 61% on Metacritic.
I think the 75 is all right.
Eh. And this is actually one of the movies, one of the very few that we saw together.
Oh yeah.
because we were in San Antonio.
Is that the only?
That's
Not
not the only.
Stuber.
Oh my God. There's another one that we saw at my place, I think.
Oh, did we do Hereditary? No, we didn't.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
All right. So I
The
took
first,
notes. I know you took some, right?
I took some. Some of them are.
I took a
I don't
lot.
know. I didn't take that many. The first thing I want to mention is the intro. If you had to guess what movie it reminded you of, what movie? What other horror movie would you say
It
it
reminded
reminded
me
you of?
of. Well, it reminded me of a lot of things, but it didn't remind me of a scary movie. It reminded me of, well, actually, I think I see what you're getting at. It reminded me of True Detective,
Oh no.
because, well, I know that, but I it also reminded me of a movie called Prom Night. But I think, are you thinking of Get Out?
I am thinking of Get Out. It's very, very similar to Get Out. The whole like bird's eye view, the music is like it's like people singing and like an ominous tone.
Yeah.
Very, very similar. I was like, I see that. And it's that interesting thing that you were talking about a couple episodes, if not last episode, where it's like we watch these older movies, but we haven't seen them. We've seen these newer ones, and we're like, oh, this stole from Get Out, but it's like the other way around. I just thought it was like that was a perfect thing.
Well, and the difference between Steel, at least for me, like there's there's two kind of feelings where one is stealing and another is inspired. And if you do it really badly, where I'm like, oh, they tried to do what Harry when Harry met Sally, but they didn't do it. They kind of tried to steal it, but it wasn't really made into their own. But you can see it wasn't as annoying in this one because it's not like it didn't look like Jordan Peele just was like watching Candyman and like, okay, just do this. It felt like when he was trying to figure out a way to open his film, he was just thinking about all the films that he'd seen and that he loved, and he brought that. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't
Yeah,
a direct like carbon copy, but you could see the inspiration of it.
yeah. I
And I
wasn't trying
really
to
like
say that
that.
I
No,
wasn't
but I
trying to
don't know
say
what
that
you
he
mean.
stole
No,
it.
no, no, no. I wasn't, yeah, I was just saying that's the difference between like you being like something being reminiscent of another thing and then something just being blatantly stolen. But this was, I think what you're trying to say is that it's in a good way that you can see, of course, because Jordan Peele, like if you just look at his age, you know that he grew up with these kind of movies.
Yeah,
So it
I thought
you can
I thought
make
it was
that.
really cool.
I loved it, yeah. And I was trying to think of that too, because in this movie, I don't know, you'll probably talk about the music a little bit more, but the music is very different. And I don't know if this is one of the movies that did that or if this was a very 90s thing, but I don't think I've seen so many operatic, like scary movies like that.
Yeah,
The music was very interesting. Like I'm surprised they didn't kind of, because it was set in like an urban landscape. I was happy that they didn't use like hip hop and stuff. I was glad that they used more of a dramatic soundtrack.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to talk about the music, boy, no. So the I guess composer, score
Yeah,
writer, whatever,
I think both.
for this film was Philip Glass, which is one of my favorite composers. Up there with Hans Zimmer, because well, I was talking to you this about them like during the movie, but he's a what's called a minimalist, um, like as far as music goes, as like a composer, where the music in this movie or the way he composes is so unique because he'll have like a bar and bars he'll have a bar, um, and that will repeat over and over, and then he'll add something else, and then it slowly builds and builds until you have this complete piece, and he's very very good at that. And the operatic, I have like he's done some like his music's been used in Watchmen, the movie, which is really fantastic. When he does that, my favorite scene is when he uses a lot of operatic stuff. Whenever like Doctor Manhattan is like his backstory is given, but I could talk about Philip Glass all the time, anytime. But he's fantastic, and he was perfect for this movie.
Well,
That's all
and
I had to say.
to tie it kind of back to the movie, I don't know much about composers or music, but I do know about scary movies. And I think my favorite scary movies are the ones that they also kind of have that same minimalist style where they don't just go for the easy scare. Like he could just go for the easy bars,
Yeah.
but instead he's building up on that tension, and that's perfect for scary movies. And another, I don't know who composes his movies, but James Wan is one of my favorite. Like I think he's
Uh,
so good at making scary movies like that. And I don't know who his composer is, but you should look him up because whoever that composer is really, I don't know if they do if it's the same style, but with scary movies now, the best ones, they just have like the best soundtracks or the best scores.
yeah.
So I would look into that. I think those are my favorite ones.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I think a lot of scary movies are about, or it's not just about like how to easily scare people, it's how to build tension. And so
Oh yeah.
that's interesting that music is one of those ways to do that, and that's how they chose to do it in this one. Because this movie, they do have a lot of jump scares, but I think a lot of the really jarring parts of it are when he's using like really loud music like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
But yeah, so sticking to the opening, I remember, I think it's like using that landscape, but then it fades into just an image of a bunch of bees, and it was
Hmm.
super unsettling because they were like
Oh
crawling
yeah.
around and
Mm.
oof. So that I like the theme of bees in this movie. I think it's really interesting. I wonder why they used it. Other than I also like it because of the like whole candy aspect, because anytime you go to like an ice cream truck or something like those little like snow cone carts by the Alamo, there's always a bunch of bees around it.
Tons of them. Oh my gosh. Six Flags. Yep. Forget about it.
But yeah, I liked that. And I also took a note of how the camera moves. And I think in this movie, it's the way that it moves and it takes your eye is so interesting. And that probably reminds me of Jordan Peele a lot too. I wonder if he really referenced this movie or if he like if this was one of his favorites. I'm assuming so because he's producing the new one, but
Uh,
it is
I would.
very reminiscent of his movies.
Yeah, because I know he told his actors like these are some movies that I really like that I'm really inspired by. I wonder if that was on this list because I remember seeing that somewhere.
I
Can't
bet.
remember if this was on here, but I can imagine that. And another thing that was I don't know. I think yeah, the original Halloween probably came out before this, right? Because I was like, what?
It
I don't know
should
when
have.
that came out. But the like original or not the original the the story told about that blonde lady who dies. I don't. That's all the note that I have is the story told to blonde lady. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The like the janitor who tells her about Candyman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like his first or the first time you see him kill someone, and you like see his hook, and you see how he kills a blonde lady when she's like in the shower or something. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really remember, but that reminded me of the original Halloween. Just the way the camera, it was exactly the camera movement, how you're kind of in the perspective of the killer or
Mm-hmm.
an outsider or the stranger. Um, I don't know. It seemed like the same Get Out was inspired by Candyman, or you can see the similarities. I
Mm-hmm.
saw that in the opening story with that blonde lady, with the original Halloween.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Agreed. And then I made a quick list of things that aged this movie. And one
Hmm.
of them was somebody said that I read it in the paper. Like you don't hear people saying that anymore. And a disposable camera, which we watched this with our parents. And I learned that because she was taking pictures with something that looked like a disposable camera, but she wasn't winding it. And so
Yeah.
I asked, I was like, why is she not winding it? And mom said that back in the day, you either had a disposable camera or you had one of the fancy ones that did it for you. So I did not know that. And I
That's-
love that she called it one of the fancy ones.
You know she didn't have one though.
Yeah. Um, oh, and then so I think after the whole like intro to Candyman and she learns about the stories, she goes to her husband's like lecture. And I think it's really interesting whenever there's a lecture in a movie and people like go and see the professor that they're talking to, that they always get to the lectures like either in the middle or right before the class ends.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's for time's sake, but it's just that's one of the things I always notice and it really bothers me.
It's never during a
Like how do you
quiz.
right? And it's like and you would think because it's about to end that they've been talking about this for a long time, but it sounds like they're just introing what they're talking about. Oh, it's
Yeah.
very weird.
Like what do they do for the rest? Like the earlier section.
Yeah, like were they just sitting there and he was like, I can't wait to talk to you guys about what I'm talking to you about. It's just weird. And I feel like if I made a movie, I would probably have to do something like that, but it would really bother me. uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and then after that, she goes and after she talks to her husband, who's obviously cheating on her, with a student, she goes to the library to go look at papers. And I was really confused because she was looking at old like crime scenes or old articles about crimes, and they had the crime scene pictures of the dead people on the front cover or like in the
Yeah.
article. And so I asked mom that. I was like, did they do that back in the day? But she didn't know. But I can't imagine somebody publishing a picture of a crime scene nowadays. That just felt like very out of
Probably
place.
just for the film.
I know, but it was like one of those things that I mean, there's some stuff I can forgive, like the whole lecture thing we just talked about, but that took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, and then after this, she like learns a lot about her building, and then she just pops out that fucking mirror. And I just said that she had some nerve just looking into another person's apartment after she took
I
out that fucking
know.
mirror. And it
Right?
made me want to try to take out my mirror. No, I'm kidding.
And
Uh,
also, why didn't she die? She said Candyman 5 times. She should have been dead.
I know. And that's when I put
Like
she was literally asking for it. It was so
why
annoying.
her? Why I don't know. Like why did he choose her?
'Cause she's white. I don't know.
My
I have
next
no
note is
idea.
Candyman and Bloody Mary are the power couple we deserve. And they should make a movie about them. No, you say my name. No, you say my name.
Oh my. Oh, and then after I guess she has like a dream or something. Oh no, she thinks that like somebody's in her apartment, and then her husband just like jumped out of nowhere on top of her and scared the shit out of her.
Oh.
And I said I would literally beat the shit out of Sebastian if he ever did that. Like who does that? Not only is he fucking cheating on you, but he scares you like that. What an idiot. Um. Oh, and then I realized that because I knew she was like researching this thing, and I didn't realize that she was still a grad student. And how the hell does she have money for that apartment? I guess her
Her
husband, but
professor
like how much do
husband.
professors make?
It depends. I mean, he had a big lecture hall. Probably successful.
Oh, and there was a lot of aerial shots whenever they were going to that neighborhood where Candyman basically lived. And they
Mm.
seemed so intentional that I didn't understand why they were doing it. But I guess some people just like aerial shots. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like when it felt like whenever you watch like a vlogger or something and you're like, oh, they just bought a drone because they keep using like aerial shots.
They just invented the drone in '92. That's why.
They're like, we have a helicopter for the day, just like fucking fly around. I don't know.
Go with it.
Um, and I said this style is iconic. I think I was like referencing the music and the way that every time they would tell a story, I really loved the way that they did it, where they didn't like make it like really like they didn't make the feel look really what's the word for when they try to do flashbacks or something, they make it look really glazed so you can tell like we're trying to tell you this is a dream and it's really annoying. They didn't really do that for this and I really liked it. I love how the camera moved and the music. It was really iconic.
Yeah, it all fit well.
Yeah.
I don't know about my next now. I just have this is verbatim, stupid ass fall.
Oh, she fell down the stairs.
Did
Did
she?
she
When did
not?
you? Or was it? Oh no, this is a little bit ahead, but because I guess the local thugs are using the Candyman name to
Mm-hmm.
like instill fear in everyone. So like the fake Candyman figures out that she's like trying to like doing research on him,
Mm-hmm.
or what he thinks is him, and he stabs her and she falls down, but she falls down like she didn't get just stabbed. She falls down like I don't know. Like if you get stabbed, you wouldn't fall like that. I don't know. Like I said,
Well,
stupid ass fall.
um, well, my next note was the amount of smoking in this movie was giving me a headache.
Oh yeah.
There's so much smoking. Um, and then my next note was that one time I was writing a paper on paranormal activity. I don't know why, but I was. And when I was researching it, I had a bunch of tabs open and music or like something started randomly playing on my laptop and I couldn't find what it was. And so I instantly shut everything down and I changed my topic for my paper. And so I kind of know what she's going through.
That's funny.
Um, and then she kept going back to that damn apartment. And then she had the audacity to ask a child about murder.
Oh yeah.
She was like, "Do you know the girl that was murdered here?" Bitch, like
That
he's like
was
two. He's not two. I don't know. Kids are. I can't gauge the age of children.
he
He
was
could have been two, and
42.
he could have been two. He could have been 25. I have no idea. Um, I also was bothered by the bonfire that they were gonna have because a bonfire that close to a building cannot be safe. It looked like it
it
was like right like on the front step of that fucking building.
was also stuff you like can't burn. Microwaves, stoves.
A fridge. And I also, oh, I guess you kind of answered this question, but I was so confused why you would want to claim your Candyman. Like when that guy went in and when he like stabbed her, now I'm at that part where he was claiming it, but I don't understand why you would want to do that. But I guess that makes sense now that like you want the street cred for whatever happened. But he
Yeah.
also murdered a child. So like why do you want that? I don't know. It was very weird. I also put, and I don't remember why, but I put woke white queen because she said something. Because she was,
Oh.
oh, I remember why. I think it was because oh, it's because after she got stabbed, everybody was like in panic about it. And she was saying, well, it's
Oh.
because I'm white.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep, she's a woke white queen. Oh, and then after that whole thing happens, the actual Candyman starts to come into the movie, and I really loved his voice.
Oh yeah.
I love the creepy way they put it, and I put that I want him to narrate my life.
Did you really?
Yeah,
That's so funny because I put last episode. You asked who I want to narrate my life, and I want him.
that's him.
Is oddly soothing.
Very soothing, super creepy, but like if he told me to go to bed, I would.
Because
Um,
of fear.
exactly. And then so after that, she won't get into her damn car to get away from Candyman, and he does something where he basically like roofies her and then she wakes up in that apartment with she's filled with blood and then she walks out, she sees the dog murdered, and then why? in the hell would you pick up the knife that is so obviously the weapon that killed that dog? And she picks it up and starts running around. And then that the lady gets scared because she's like, "Where the fuck is my kid?" And there's this white woman just waving a knife around. Of course she's gonna think you did it. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah. This was gory as hell. Like
Yeah, super
I
gory.
thought I thought the kid was dead. I didn't think he was missing because like there was just blood in the crib. So I was like, damn. Like
It did.
we went from nothing to everything all at once. I was like, I was not ready
After
for
one
this.
blackout.
Yeah.
Also, after she is basically like arrested and they think she did it, but she gets home because her husband bails her out, and he still goes and cheats on her. Who,
Yeah.
after your wife is suspected of murdering not only like a dog but a child, and you still go cheat on your wife that may be a murderer? It's a bold
Oh,
move.
this is where I put he's cheating on her, right?
Is that what you just realized?
No, no. I thought it
Oh.
would be funny though.
Yeah, I cannot believe that he would continue to cheat on her after she's suspected of murdering somebody.
Hey.
Oh, this movie actually scared me twice. I don't remember the times, but I remember putting a note that it has scared me twice. And one of the parts, it scared mom too. We like both jumped. I don't remember what it was, but those jump scares. Oh, and then there was a handheld shot. I don't remember what part it was. I think, huh. Maybe he was, I think he was running after her, Candyman, but there was like a really nice handheld shot that was like shaky, but it was really like suspenseful.
Hmm. I don't remember that, but I can imagine it.
And then they're kind of flashing between her, like he keeps threatening her, and there's a baby. So the baby isn't dead, like you said, and he has a baby somewhere. And it was really funny to me to imagine him taking care of the baby. Like I put, imagine him trying to change a diaper with his hook. What a nightmare.
Like
Um,
why does he take the time? Like for him it'd
yeah,
be so much easier for just to kill the baby.
yeah, it
Like
was kind of weird.
what's in it for him? He has all these powers. Why is he going after this white lady?
I don't know. That I don't know if that was clear and we just didn't get it, but I still don't understand.
Yeah, that's one of my last notes is I kind of lost it at the end of this movie, but
Yeah,
uh
I
yeah.
trailed off a little bit. But this movie did, we were talking about Invisible Man a little bit earlier. It did remind me of it a lot. Especially the part where she goes into the like a mental hospital because it
Mm,
is a very scary concept of you I well, these are two women in the movies, but it could be anybody where there's something very real and very scary happening to you, but nobody believes you because you're not able to prove your sanity.
yeah.
Because you know how she's like saying like he's here, he's behind, she's like that is true, he is there, and that happens in Invisible Man too, where she's like he's here, but because you can't in Invisible Man, I think here you can kind of see him, but in Invisible Man, like when she's yelling that and saying that he like did all these things and that he's there, you can't see him. So you like part of you is like, well, she does look fucking insane. And so because I don't believe people can be invisible, if I saw this, I would think she's insane. So that is really
Yeah.
scary if that happened to you. And this kind of goes back to Horse Girl, where like not in these cases where in movie it's a movie and there's actual villains, but like can you imagine for people that this is something like something happening to them that is very real to them, but nobody believes them, you know, like it's not actually happening, but to them it's like it's clear as day happening to them. And so
Very
not being
scary.
able to like yeah, not being able to tell people that is really terrifying to me. But yeah. Oh, and this is a part too where he like takes her to some like abandoned building. I don't know what they're doing at this point, but a bunch of bees come out of his mouth. And so I put as soon as if I was like doing this movie, if I was reading the script, and as soon as I saw that, I'd be like, yeah, I can't do this movie because like it's not. I was gonna say photoshopped. It's not CGI. Like there's bees actually coming out of his mouth. So I can't imagine. Or even for her, where she doesn't have to have them in her mouth, but she's laying there and they're all over her. I don't know if I could do that. Ugh, I cannot.
You want to talk about that fun fact?
I have it at the end.
Oh, okay.
Um, and they also I put why would they bury that with her, but I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, the hook. Oh, that's what it was. So after
Oh,
they burned Candyman, they found the hook. And do you remember when like her and her like white family was at the funeral, but then all the like black people that were living in that neighborhood came to basically like thank her for killing Candyman. But then they had the hook and they dropped it in her grave. Why the fuck
maybe
would you bury that with her?
maybe because
Maybe they
she's
know that it's
Candyman.
passed on. Oh,
Maybe. I don't know. That's interesting.
it was very weird. I was so confused.
I forgot
And then
about that.
my last note is wow, I love that ending. Get his ass because she came back and haunted that husband and fucking killed him and
Yeah,
his
the
bitch.
acting was kind of funny.
It was yeah, it was I like the ending. It was funny.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, so fun facts. The bees are actually most of my fun facts. I didn't really read through all of them. There was a lot of them. But do you want to read them or do you want me to?
Now you go for
So, talking about the bees. So Tony Todd, who is the guy that actually played Candyman, he before he did this movie, he negotiated a bonus of $1,000 for every bee sting that he suffered during the filming, which is genius.
it. Yeah.
And he was stung by a total of 23 bees. So,
Perfect.
$23,000 just for being stung. Would
That's
you do
worth it.
that? If somebody came up to you and was like, if you get stung 23 times by bees, I'll give you $23,000. Would you do it?
I say do even more. Double it. That's so worth it. $1,000.
You know what? I'll do it for free.
That's so
Um,
worth it.
okay. And the bees, so this one is kind of sad, but the bees were bred specifically for this movie. They needed to make sure that the bees were only 12 hours old so that they looked like mature bees, but their stinger wouldn't be powerful enough to do any real damage.
What
So that
the?
is a little cruel thinking back on it, but it is really interesting that they're able to do that. But maybe I don't know if you can like I'm not gonna like, debate the what's the word? Not humanity. Like humane nature of what they did, but it's very interesting. Oh, and my last note was that Eddie Murphy was considered for the title role, which I totally would see that movie. But the reason he didn't get it is because he's too short at 5'9". And Tony Todd, who got the role, is 6'5".
I'm so glad they didn't get him. They didn't get every. They chose not to go with Eddie Murphy because I would have laughed so hard seeing him, like, and hearing his voice.
Now,
It's-
maybe this is one of the creative things you can do, but oh no, that'd be hard. But I would want
Remake it
that
with
the
Eddie
voice,
Murphy.
yeah, but like remake it with Eddie Murphy, but I want his voiceover to be like the donkey from Shrek.
That would be tough, but so worth it.
Edit the audio from Shrek so it can have that really creepy like effect that his voice had. But yeah, so final thoughts. I think this movie as a scary movie is pretty good. I still stand firm on the fact that I don't really like scary movies like in the 90s or after the 2000s basically. I think it's just because of um the movies that I grew up to like. I don't think it's anything bad, but I've just never seen a movie in, in the 90s like a scary movie that I've liked yet. So
Yeah.
but this one I think it was pretty good. Like I said, you could tell that we got a lot of good things out of it. Like we probably got Jordan Peele doing scary movies, not directly from this movie, but movies like this. So I still have
Yeah.
a great appreciation for it. But like you said, I don't know if I'd give it a 75%. I think the 61% from Metacritic is a little bit more my taste, but yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny. The acting was funny. And I
Yeah.
love Philip Glass. I'll support him no matter what. Because he's fantastic. His music's so good.
I also love when there's it sounds weird, but I also love when there's villains in movies that are not that are like not or what's the word? That are of color, I feel like um I want people of color to be able to be in every aspect of every movie, so it's kind of nice to be like, "Oh, he gets to be the guy living in the mirror," like that's
Yeah.
kind of nice. Yeah. But yeah,
That's,
so
yeah. It's
solid
Candyman.
movie.
Interested to see what they're gonna do with the new movie.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about that a little bit, but I am also very interested because now I kind of have a more better understanding of what they'll probably do with it. We can kind of tell that that baby is probably the guy that's in it. And the mom,
Wait, really?
I think so because if you look at the trailer, the mom, the one that was like screaming because she thought like the baby was dead, she's in the new movie. And you can
Mm-hmm.
tell because she looks exactly the same.
She does.
Um, but I'm pretty sure the guy that's in it that everybody's thirsting over, I think he's the baby.
What
And I
guy?
think I don't know his name, but he's actually been in he was in Us. I don't remember his name. But if you look it up, he's in the new one. And I don't
The
know.
the guy who plays actual Candyman,
No, no,
or
no, no.
like the
The guy that's in it where he's
Yaha Abdul Mateen the second?
yeah. I think
Oh,
I
he's
think
in
he's
Watchmen.
the yeah, and he's
Oh, you think
the
he's the
baby
baby?
from this movie, I think he's him grown up.
Oh.
I think there's something having to do with the whole like him, he's basically like babysitting him for a couple of weeks. Candyman, so there has to be something with that.
I want to know why. How is Candyman still alive?
Hmm.
Spoiler alert: he's supposed to die at the end of the 92 version or movie. So how does he come back?
Well,
How is he in this one?
maybe he's not really dead.
No.
Maybe I don't know. I have no idea.
And is that lady the lady who like took over for him? Is she gonna be in it?
Huh. I don't know. I'm
Who
very
knows?
interested what they're gonna do with it. I
Yeah.
think it would be interesting for him to become the Candyman somehow, or maybe there's I wonder if he's also gonna be studying him. Like, what? Why is he in the? I'm just so interested in how they're gonna do it.
Well, have you seen the trailer?
I have, but I only watched it once, and I don't really remember much of it.
Oh well,
I'm gonna watch it
based on
again.
it seems like pretty much exactly the same. Like not exactly the same, but like he's an artist and he's really interested in Candyman, and he's uh, and the Candyman's like be my next victim, like all that's the same stuff that he did for that white lady. He's doing for this guy.
Huh.
I don't know. That's what it seems like.
Maybe he'll be like a Banksy, but he'll do it with like crime scenes. Well, that'll be interesting. It made me more excited
Yeah,
for that because they did leave it a little bit open. I wonder if there's a sequel to Candyman,
I think there
the old
is. I
ones.
saw, or I don't
I
know if
think
it's
it's
a
like
sequel. Maybe a spin-off.
I think it's like a trilogy.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I don't know. That's Candyman. Anything else you
Candyman.
gotta say?
No, it's just that I'm looking forward to the new one. I think it'll
Yeah.
be good.
It shall. Well, it's about that time.
Oh God. Oh my God.
Did you see it?
Yes.
All right,
Oh.
folks. Here it is. We are going to watch together, all of us, the Simpsons movie.
Oh
It's on
God.
Disney Plus. And honestly, can you think of a better movie to watch during our quarantine?
I haven't seen it in so long, and now I'm like, all the memories are flooding back, and it actually is a very good social distancing, like isolation movie.
Yeah, because they isolate Springfield. Don't want to spoil anything, but it's topical, bro. It's
Put them
getting
in a
there.
dome. Maybe
Yeah.
that's like the perfect way to solve this. Just put it in a dome.
Put what in the dome?
I
Seattle,
don't know. COVID.
Italy, COVID, COVID in the dome.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even know it was on anything. Disney
I
Plus,
know.
you said?
Disney Plus. I think this is maybe the first one we've done on Disney Plus.
No. Noel.
I forgot. Ugh.
Oh, my favorite. Maybe we should just watch Noel again.
Scratch that, guys. Nah. Watch the Simpsons movie on Disney Plus. It is available. I checked right before we started recording because I was scared.
I wonder if there's a way for us to watch, well, two things. If there's a way for us to like watch these movies with people, and two, if people would want to.
uh, well, we can't like live stream it because then we'd run into some like legal issues. You
Well, we
know?
couldn't even like do like a chat room thing. I know there's something called Netflix Party.
Yeah,
It's like
but
a
this
promo
isn't on
thing.
Netflix.
Oh, that's what I mean. I wonder if there's another way to do it.
Oh, we just start a Skype call with everyone, and they just all join and they watch us watch the Simpsons movie.
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Nah, they gotta watch it along with us. But I don't know how that would work. All right, ready, everyone? 3, 2, 1, start.
No, I'm sure. I think there's a way. I don't know. Maybe that is it. But that'd be something interesting to explore.
Yeah. Well,
Some
let us
YouTubers
know,
do
guys.
it.
Let us know at if you want to hit us up on Twitter, we're at Bro Sister Show. Instagram, we're Brother Sister Show. And then our email is thebrosispod@gmail.com. Any one of those, we'll hit you back with anything. DM, comment, email. We'll hit you back. Let us know what you guys feel about us doing I don't know, anything. Weekly live stream. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't. It'd be this is like you said. It's an interesting thing to explore. Like I know me and you have kind of talked about making other things like a short film, or I don't know if people want to be involved in that, but yeah, or something that they want us to talk about while we record.
Yeah, literally anything.
Yeah. Because I was gonna ask you to talk about it after this, but if people want us to talk about it during, then like I don't know. I don't know if that's interesting or not.
Yeah, you guys gotta let us know.
All right, Simpsons movie on Disney Plus.
Watch it. It's a good movie.
All right, well, we'll see you either in 2 weeks or next week. We'll figure it
Either
out.
way, we'll see you.
All right,
See you guys.
stay
Bye.
safe
Thank you for listening. Wash your damn hands.
and stay home. Bye.
Bye.